Chosen one, lock your mind on this message immediately. Do not let a single distraction enter your spirit for the next few minutes. God has issued a divine command. Shut your mouth. And He is deadly serious. If you have been wondering why you keep failing right at the edge of your breakthrough, why the deal collapses at 99%, why the relationship ends just when it gets serious, it is not because you are cursed. It is because you are leaking classified intelligence to an enemy that is listening to your frequency. You feel a heaviness right now, a fear that God is angry with you. Let me correct that. God is not angry at you. He is furious for you. He is tired of watching the enemy steal your harvest using the very words you spoke. This is not a punishment. This is a divine protection protocol. Today, we are going to seal the leak before you lose one more blessing. I am asking you to stay until the very last second of this transmission. Do not click away halfway through. By the end of this video, you will not just understand why you have been stuck. You will receive the security clearance that protects your destiny. We are going to install a mental filter called the 3-circle rule that will change your relationships instantly. We are going to walk through the 40-day silent protocol, and at the very end, we are going to perform a sealing ceremony to lock this wisdom into your spirit. If you leave early, you leave vulnerable. So stay with me. Now, let us look at the pattern. You know exactly what I am talking about. It is the almost syndrome. Zoom into that moment from 2 weeks ago, or maybe it was last night. You were sitting on the edge of your bed, or maybe you were in your car in the parking lot, and you received a notification, a small win, a door opening, a sudden idea for a business that felt like electricity running through your veins. The excitement hit your chest so hard you could barely breathe. And what was the very first thing your body wanted to do? You grabbed your phone, you opened that text message thread, you started typing, you wanted to tell someone, you needed to tell someone. Visualize your thumb hovering over that send button. You felt a tiny check in your spirit, a split second of hesitation, a small, quiet alarm bell ringing in the back of your mind saying, wait, not yet. But the dopamine was too strong, the need for validation was too loud, so you ignored the check. You pressed send, you told your best friend, you posted a vague status update on social media, you shared the dream over dinner. And for a moment, it felt good. You felt seen. But then, almost immediately, the atmosphere shifted. Within 24 hours, the text replies stopped coming. The deal, that was a sure thing, suddenly went cold. The person you told started acting strange, asking critical questions that planted seeds of doubt in your mind. The energy drained out of the project. It was like a balloon with a slow leak. And now, you are standing in the wreckage of another almost, wondering what went wrong. I am here to tell you that nothing went wrong with the blessing. The blessing was real. The timing was perfect. The only thing that went wrong is that you exposed a developing photograph to the light before it was fixed, and the image vanished. Proverbs chapter 13 verse 3 says, "He who guards his lips guards his life, but he who speaks rashly will come to ruin." Most people read that verse and think it just means do not tell lies or do not say mean things. But let us go deeper. The Hebrew word used there for guards is natsar. It does not just mean to close. It is a military term. It means to stand watch like a sentry. It means to encircle a city with a blockade. It means to protect something of immense value from an invading army. When God tells you to guard your lips, He is not trying to make you antisocial. He is identifying you as a high-value target. You are not a civilian. You are carrying state secrets of the kingdom of heaven. When you speak rashly, when you open the gates of your city to anyone who knocks, you are not just being friendly. You are committing a security breach. You are handing the blueprints of your future to saboteurs who are standing right outside your walls, disguised as friends. So, when you feel that heaviness, that stern correction from the Holy Spirit telling you to be quiet, do not mistake it for rejection. That is the love of a father protecting his child. He sees the wolves circling. He sees the jealousy in the hearts of the people you are trying to impress. He sees the spiritual theft that is about to happen. And he is shouting at you to close the gates. But you might say, I only told my mother, I only told my spouse, I only whispered it in my own bedroom. How could that possibly cause a failure? You think you whispered it in a safe room. But what you do not realize is that there is a physics of sound in the spirit realm that you have never been taught. There is a surveillance system active around your life right now that picks up vibrations you do not even know you are emitting. And until you understand how this espionage works, you will keep handing your harvest over to the enemy. You must understand the mechanics of the spirit realm, because what you do not know is currently killing your dreams. Here is the secret that most believers miss. Satan is not God. He is not all-knowing. He is not omnipresent. He cannot be everywhere at once, and most importantly, he cannot read your mind. If you dream a dream in the silence of your heart, the enemy has absolutely no idea it exists. It is hidden in the secret place of the Most High. But the moment you speak it into the atmosphere, you release the intelligence. You hand over the data. There are entities in the spiritual realm known as monitoring spirits. Their entire assignment is to watch you and, more specifically, to listen to you. They are intelligence gatherers. They hang around your life, waiting for a slip, waiting for a declaration, waiting for you to unlock the safe with your tongue. Visualize this. You are on the phone with a friend, and you say, I finally got the loan approval for the house. In the unseen realm, a monitoring spirit pulls out a pen. It writes down, financial breakthrough imminent. It writes down, target acquired. And then it turns to the spirit of delay and says, go attack the paperwork. Go attack the underwriter. We know exactly where the blessing is coming from now. Block that specific channel. Do you see what happened? You gave them the coordinates. Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 2 gives us the protocol for this. It says, do not be quick with your mouth. Do not be hasty in your heart to utter anything before God. God is in heaven and you are on earth, so let your words be few. Context is everything here. Solomon is talking about approaching the house of God. He is talking about stepping into a holy, high-stakes atmosphere. When you are close to your destiny, you are entering the house of God. The atmosphere is charged. The stakes are life and death. In that environment, words are not just air. They are legal tenders. They are weaponized coordinates. When you speak your plan out loud before it has manifested, you are literally dropping a pin on your location for the enemy artillery. You are lighting a flare in the dark that says, here I am, here is my treasure, come and take it. Let me prove this to you. Let me tell you about Sarah. That is not her real name, but her story is real, and it is happening to many of you. 3 months ago, Sarah was standing in a crowded living room at a friend's birthday party. The music was loud. She was holding a plastic cup, feeling good, feeling safe. She had just secured a massive contract that was going to clear all her debts. It was 99% done, verbal agreement made, papers drafted, just waiting for signatures on Monday. In that warm, noisy room, Surrounded by people she thought were on her team, she let her guard down. She leaned in and told a friend, "I am finally free. I got the contract. It is done." She described the company. She described the amount. She felt the relief of sharing the news. But watch what happened. That friend smiled and congratulated her. But the spirit behind that friend took notes. By Tuesday morning, the email came. The contract was put on hold indefinitely. No explanation, no logic, just a sudden, mysterious wall. Sarah thought it was bad luck. She thought it was God testing her faith, but it was neither. It was a breach of intelligence. She spoke in the earthly realm, but she was heard in the spiritual realm. The enemy did not know to attack that contract until she identified it as the source of her freedom. The monitoring spirit did not know where to strike until she pointed to the target. You have been blaming God for closed doors that you yourself locked by handing the key to the adversary. You have been crying out, asking why the enemy always attacks you right before the breakthrough. It is because you announced the breakthrough before you possessed it. You broadcasted your movement on an open frequency. So now you are thinking, okay, I understand. I just need to be quiet. I need to zip my lip and suffer in silence. I need to hide in a corner and do nothing until God moves. But chosen one, that is a lie. That is the biggest misconception about spiritual silence. You think silence is passive. You think silence is weakness. But I am about to show you that true silence is actually the most violent act of creation you can perform. What I am about to reveal next will completely change how you see your waiting season. Here is the revelation that shifts everything. You have been conditioned to believe that silence is the penalty box. You think that because God has told you to be quiet, or because He has hidden you away in a season of isolation, that you have been benched. You look at others shouting their victories from the rooftops, getting the likes, getting the applause, and you feel like you are doing nothing. You feel like you are stagnant. You interpret this divine silence as a sign that God has forgotten your address. But that interpretation is the false summit. It is the surface level lie the enemy uses to make you break the seal. Let us flip the script right now. Look at the laws of creation. Look at biology. When a seed is planted in the ground, does it scream? Does it announce its progress every time a root pushes 1 millimeter deeper into the soil? No. It undergoes the most violent, explosive transformation of its existence in absolute darkness and absolute silence. Consider a mother's womb. When life is conceived, it is hidden. It is covered. For 9 months, the most complex work in the universe is happening. Bones are knitting together. A heart is learning to beat. A brain is wiring itself. And it is all happening under a veil of silence. If you expose that process to the light too soon, if you disturb the incubation, you do not get a faster birth. You get a tragedy. God is telling you to shut your mouth, not because you are being punished, but because you are pregnant. You are spiritually pregnant with a destiny that is too massive, too fragile, and too significant to be exposed to the harsh atmosphere of public opinion. You are not inactive. You are incubating. I want you to tune into your body right now. Do not move, just feel. Notice that pressure you have been feeling lately. Not the anxiety in your chest, but that deep, heavy sensation in your spirit, almost like a weight sitting in your lower belly. You have tried to pray it away. You have tried to sleep it off. But it stays there. That is not depression. That is not heaviness of spirit. That is the weight of glory. In Hebrew, the word for glory is kavod, and it literally means heavy. You are carrying a full-term promise. The reason God has commanded silence is because you are in the critical trimester of formation. The atmosphere of your life must be controlled. Your mouth is the thermostat of that atmosphere. If you speak doubt, you drop the temperature. If you speak fear, you freeze the process. If you invite the wrong people into the delivery room, you invite infection. God is acting as the midwife of your destiny, and he is shouting, "Clear the room," because he knows what you are carrying is about to come forth. This brings us to the Zechariah principle. This is the biblical mystery that explains exactly why you have been silenced. In Luke chapter 1, the angel Gabriel appears to Zechariah, an old priest, and tells him his wife is going to have a son named John. This is a miracle. It is the answer to decades of prayer. It is the forerunner to the Messiah. This is the biggest news in the history of Israel up to that point. But look at Zechariah's reaction. He opens his mouth and says, "How can I be sure of this? I am an old man, and my wife is well along in years." He speaks logic. He speaks doubt. He speaks his current reality. And watch what the angel does. Gabriel does not argue. He does not try to convince him. He says, "And now you will be silent and not able to speak until the day this happens, because you did not believe my words." For years, pastors have taught this as a punishment. They say God struck Zechariah dumb because he lacked faith. But I need you to see the protection in the penalty. God did not silence Zechariah just to teach him a lesson. God silenced him because his mouth had become a threat to his own miracle. Zechariah carried the authority of the priesthood. His words had power. If he had been allowed to walk around for 9 months saying, "I do not know how this is going to work, we are too old, this makes no sense," his own words would have aborted the prophecy. His doubt was a weapon pointed at the head of John the Baptist. So God, in his severe mercy, said, "I love this promise too much to let you talk it to death. I am going to zip your lip. I am going to override your ability to self-sabotage. I am going to put you in a divine mute so that the baby can survive your doubt." Chosen one, you are Zechariah. You have prayed for something big. God has answered, but your logical mind is struggling to catch up. You are looking at your bank account, your age, your resources, and you are tempted to speak facts instead of faith. And because you are a chosen one, your words carry high voltage. You have the power to dismantle your own blessing. So, when God says, "Shut your mouth," he is essentially saying, "I am not going to let you talk yourself out of what I have already written for you. I am putting a guard over your mouth so that your miracle can survive your humanity." This silence is your shield. It is the incubator that keeps the promise warm while your faith catches up to your destiny. You should be thanking God for the silence. It is the only reason you have not destroyed your future yet. But I know what happens when you sit in this incubation for too long. I know the feeling that starts to creep in when you are holding a massive secret and you cannot share it with a soul. Carrying this spiritual pregnancy in silence brings up a dark, terrifying emotion. It triggers a specific fear that makes you want to scream just to prove you still exist. There is a shadow side to this silence that we need to confront right now, because if we do not, it will trick you into breaking the seal. Let us be honest about what that fear is. It is the fear of invisibility. It is the fear that if you do not update the world on your progress, the world will assume you are failing. There is a voice in your head, a raw, unfiltered voice that keeps you up at night. It says, everyone else is moving forward. They are posting their wins. They are getting engaged. They are launching businesses. And here I am, silent. If I do not say something, they will think I am stuck. They will think God has abandoned me. They will think I am a fraud who talked big game but never delivered. You want to scream. You want to post the evidence just to prove to your high school bully or your ex or your doubting family members that you are not a failure. You want to say, look, I am not doing nothing. I am building an empire in the dark. But you can't. And that need to explain yourself, that desperate urge to defend your reputation, is actually a sign of spiritual insecurity. I need you to look at the ultimate pattern of authority in Scripture. Look at Isaiah 53 verse 7. It says, "He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He was led as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before its shearers is silent, so he opened not his mouth." We see this prophecy fulfilled in the judgment hall of Pilate. Picture the scene. Jesus is standing before Pilate. Pilate has the power of Rome. Pilate has the armies. Pilate has the ability to kill or release. And Pilate is asking questions. He is nervous. He is fishing for information. He is talking and talking. But Jesus is silent. Why? Because Jesus knew who he was. He did not need to explain his kingship to someone who could not understand his kingdom. Here is the spiritual law. The one with the true power is the quietest one in the room. Insecurity is loud. Authority is silent. When you feel the need to broadcast your plans, it is because you are trying to convince yourself that they are real. But when you truly know, when you carry the undeniable weight of glory in your spirit, you lose the desire to prove it to anyone. A lion does not need to bark to prove it is dangerous. It just is. So, how do you navigate this? You cannot hold everything in forever without exploding, but you cannot cast your pearls to swine. You need a filtration system. You need a protocol for your mouth. I am going to give you a framework right now called the 3-circle rule. This is how the most powerful people in the kingdom operate. I want you to visualize 3 concentric circles around you. Do this in your mind right now. Picture them clearly. The innermost circle, the dot in the center, is circle 1. This is the Holy of Holies. This circle contains only 2 beings, you and God. There are certain dreams, certain specific instructions, certain dates and blueprints that belong in this circle and nowhere else. These are the things you do not tell your spouse. You do not tell your pastor. You do not tell your mentor. These are the secrets between a king and his general. If you speak these things out, you dissipate the power. They are for you to ponder in your heart, just like Mary did. The next ring out is circle 2. This is your inner court. This circle contains a maximum of 3 people. Maybe your spouse, a covenant friend, or a spiritual mentor. These are people who have been tested by fire. They are not just fans, they are intercessors. They are the people who will cover the baby, not expose it. You can share the process with them, but only for the purpose of prayer and counsel, never for validation. If you do not have 3 people who fit this description, then your circle 2 is empty, and that is okay. Better to have an empty circle than a leaking one. Then there is the massive ring on the outside. Circle 3. This is the outer court. This is everyone else. This is social media. This is your extended family. This is your co-workers. This is the world. And here is the rule for circle 3. You never share the dream. You only share the result. You do not tell them you are going to write a book. You show them the book when it is published. You do not tell them you are praying for a husband. You introduce them to your husband after the wedding. Circle 3 does not get access to the incubator. They only get access to the harvest. Right now, in the quiet of your mind, I want you to scan the contacts in your phone. Visualize the faces of the people you talk to the most. Start placing them into these circles. Who is in circle 2? Be honest. Who is actually in circle 3, but you have been treating them like circle 2? That person you tell everything to because you are lonely, but who secretly competes with you. Move them to circle 3 immediately. Revoke their security clearance. This simple mental shift will stop the bleeding of your power today. But knowing who to tell is only step 1. There is a more dangerous trap. It happens in the heat of the moment, when you are under pressure, and you have to make a split-second choice to speak or stay silent. Knowing who to filter is strategy, but knowing what to filter requires a microsecond decision. You need a mental filter installed in your brain right now that catches the words before they hit your tongue. This filter is called the speech stewardship decision tree. Before you release a piece of information from your mouth into the atmosphere, it must pass through 3 distinct checkpoints. If it fails even one checkpoint, the gate remains closed. You do not speak. You hold the line. Checkpoint number 1. Is it true? This is the baseline. But most believers stop here. They think just because something is factual, they have the right to say it. But in the kingdom, truth is not the only requirement for release. Just because you got the promotion does not mean you are authorized to announce it yet. This brings us to checkpoint number 2. Is it necessary? Does the person you are talking to actually need this information to help you fulfill the assignment? If they are not helping you carry the load, they do not need to know the weight of the load. In Matthew chapter 7 verse 6, Jesus gives a command that sounds harsh. He says, "Do not give dogs what is sacred. Do not throw your pearls to pigs. If you do, they may trample them under their feet and turn and tear you to pieces." We often misinterpret this. We think the pigs are evil people. But in this context, the pig represents someone who does not have the capacity to understand the value of a pearl. To a pig, a pearl looks like a rock. It looks like hard food they cannot eat. So when you throw your precious, delicate dream at them, they do not cherish it. They trample it. And then they get angry at you because you gave them something they could not consume. When you share $1 million vision with a $10 mind, do not be surprised when they trample it. It is not their fault. It is yours. You violated the necessity checkpoint. And finally, checkpoint number 3. Is it timed right? This is the most dangerous one. A word spoken out of season is just as destructive as a lie. You can wreck a harvest by trying to reap it before it is ripe. You must ask the Holy Spirit, is this the appointed time to release this news? If the answer is wait, then you swallow the words. You let them burn in your belly if you have to, but you do not let them out. Now, to seal this discipline, I am inviting you into a radical commitment. I call it the 40-day silent protocol. For the next 40 days, starting right now, you are going to go on a fast. Not a food fast, but a word fast regarding your primary dream. If you are writing a book, for 40 days you will not mention it to a single soul in your outer circle. If you are starting a business, you will work on it in the dark for 40 days without posting a single update. If you are praying for a spouse, you will stop talking about your dating life to your friends for 40 days. Why 40 days? Because 40 is the biblical number for testing, preparation, and transformation. It rained for 40 days during the flood to cleanse the earth. Moses was on the mountain for 40 days to receive the law. Jesus was in the wilderness for 40 days to solidify his authority. This is your wilderness season. This is where you kill the addiction to validation. I want you to perform a mental action with me right now. Visualize your smartphone in your hand. In your mind's eye, see yourself opening the settings. Imagine you are turning off a switch labeled Approval Seeking. See the light on that switch go from green to gray. Now, visualize yourself walking into a room filled with people who are asking you questions. What are you up to? What is new with you? In your imagination, see yourself smiling calmly and simply saying, I am just focusing on God right now. Feel the power of that restraint. Feel the mystery building around you. That is the feeling of authority. Comment, I accept the challenge below if you are brave enough to enter this 40-day covenant of silence. By typing those words, you are signing a contract with your own potential. But hear this warning clearly. The moment you activate this 40-day protocol, the enemy will not sit still. He knows that if you complete this cycle, you will be unstoppable. So, he will launch 7 specific forms of bait to pry your mouth open and break your seal. You need to know exactly what they look like, because the first one is likely coming for you before this day is over. The enemy is not creative, but he is effective. He uses the same playbook because it works. And the moment you decide to go silent, he will ramp up the pressure to make you speak. You need to identify these traps before you step into them, because once you engage, you have already lost. David understood this danger intimately. In Psalm 141 verse 3, he prays a desperate prayer, Set a guard, O Lord, over my mouth. Keep watch over the door of my lips. Notice the imagery he uses. He calls his mouth a door. A door is an entry and exit point. A door separates the safety of the house from the danger of the street. When you leave the door open, anything can walk in, and anything valuable can be carried out. The enemy wants to pick the lock on the door of your lips, and he uses specific keys to do it. The first key he will use is the bait of offense. This is the most common and the most effective attack. Within 48 hours of you deciding to be silent, someone is going to say something that disrespects you. They will question your motives. They will attack your character. They will make a comment that is designed specifically to trigger your need to defend yourself. They will say things like, You think you are better than us now, don't you? Or, I heard you are struggling. Is that true? The goal of this attack is to pull you out of the spirit and into the flesh. The enemy knows that if he can get you to defend yourself, he has you, because you cannot defend yourself without revealing your position. You cannot argue without exposing your heart. The moment you open your mouth to say, No, that is not true, actually I am doing great, here is what is really happening, you have taken the bait. You have unlocked the door. You have handed over the intelligence they wanted. The second key is false empathy. This is the spy in the camp. This will come in the form of a person who suddenly acts very concerned about your well-being. They will call you up and use a soft voice. They will say, I have just been so worried about you lately. You seem so distant. You can tell me anything. I won't tell a soul. I just want to pray for you. Do not be fooled. This is not intercession. This is investigation. They are fishing for information to take back to the enemy camp. If you tell them your struggles, they will use it to mock you. If you tell them your victories, they will use it to curse you. When you encounter this false empathy, your spirit will give you a warning signal. You will feel a check in your gut. Listen to that check. Do not override your discernment with politeness. The third key is premature celebration. This attacks your pride. You will get a small breakthrough. Maybe a phone call with good news, or a small amount of money comes in. The enemy will whisper to you, See, it's happening. You should post this. You should tell everyone so they know you are winning. He wants you to release the pressure of the miracle before it has finished forming. He wants you to pop the cork on the champagne before the victory is secured. If you celebrate the bud, you will never see the flower. The fourth key is the help me trap. The enemy will send someone into your life with a manufactured crisis. They will come to you in chaos, demanding your wisdom, your resources, and your attention. They will try to pull on your identity as a healer and a helper. They will make you feel like if you do not speak into their situation, you are being unloving. But realize this: some people create storms just to see if you will come out of your shelter. If you engage, you will drain the energy you were supposed to use for your own incubation. So how do you fight these attacks? You cannot fight them with words, because words are the trap. You fight them with a counter-strategy I call smile and scroll. When the bait of offense comes, when they accuse you, when they misunderstand you, you do not type a paragraph of defense. You smile and you scroll past. You visualize a shield of glass between you and them. Their words hit the glass and slide off. They do not touch you. You repeat this mantra internally. My silence is not weakness. It is a fortress. I do not need to explain myself to be validated. When the false empathy comes, you give them the grey rock response. You become as boring and uninteresting as a grey rock. You give them zero information. You say, I am doing fine. Thank you for asking. And you change the subject. You starve their curiosity. I want you to practice this mental stance right now. Imagine the person who triggers you the most standing in front of you. Imagine them saying the one thing that always makes you snap. Now, in your mind, see yourself looking at them with zero emotion. See yourself closing the door of your lips and locking the deadbolt. Feel the power of that restraint. You are not a victim of their words. You are the master of your own. You must master this, because history tells us that the greatest promotions follow the greatest character assassinations. There was one chosen one who faced the ultimate bait. He faced a direct attack on his character that could have cost him his life, and he had every right to speak up, but he stayed silent. The result? God did not just defend him, He promoted him to the palace. And that same promotion is waiting for you if you can pass this final test. Let me take you into the war room of a man we will call David. It was a Tuesday night, exactly 3 days after he decided to consecrate his tongue to God. He was sitting at his kitchen table, the blue light of his laptop screen illuminating a face pale with rage. An email had just landed in his inbox. It was copied to his boss, his team, and his investors. It was a masterpiece of manipulation, a direct attack on his integrity, accusing him of mishandling funds and stealing ideas. Zoom into that moment, feel the physical reaction. His heart wasn't just beating, it was hammering against his ribs like a trapped bird. His hands were shaking so badly he could barely find the keys. The heat of injustice flushed up his neck and into his ears. Every cell in his body screamed, "Fight back! Defend your name!" If you do not answer this, you are admitting guilt. He started typing. He typed a furious 3-page rebuttal. He attached screenshots. He attached evidence. He drafted a war cry that would destroy the person who sent that email. His finger hovered over the send button. It felt righteous. It felt necessary. It felt like justice. But then the Holy Spirit whispered one word. Karash. David froze. He remembered the covenant. He remembered that he had transferred the title deed of his reputation to God. If he pressed send, he was taking the title deed back. He was saying, God, step aside. I will handle this one. For 20 minutes, He sat there. The cursor blinked. The battle in his mind was louder than any physical war. The voice of the enemy hissed, "They are going to laugh at you. They are going to think you are weak." But David took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and did the hardest thing a man can do. He highlighted the entire email, and he pressed delete. He closed the laptop. He walked into his bedroom, lay down in the dark, and said, "God, this is your battle now. I am silent." That night felt like death. It felt like he had just laid down his sword and walked naked onto a battlefield. But he did not know that he had just activated a spiritual law that overrides the laws of human conflict. Most of us know Exodus chapter 14 verse 14. "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." We put it on coffee mugs. We quote it when we are tired. But we miss the violence of the Hebrew translation. The word used there for "be still" is karash. It does not mean to stand there and do nothing. It literally means to be deaf. It means to be dumb. It means to construct yourself as someone who cannot hear the insult and cannot speak a reply. Why does God require this? It is the law of displacement. Two hands cannot hold the steering wheel at the same time. Picture your life as a car careening towards a cliff. God is in the passenger seat, offering to drive. But as long as your hands are white-knuckled on the wheel, gripping the defense, gripping the explanation, gripping the control, God will sit back with his arms folded. He will not fight for what you are already fighting for. He will not defend what you are already defending. But the moment David let go of the wheel, the moment he chose the agony of karash, God took over. And when God fights a battle, he does not just win, he humiliates the enemy. Here is the boomerang effect. Because David stayed silent, the accuser got confused. They expected a fight. They expected noise. When silence came back, they panicked. They thought, "What does he know? Why is he so confident?" So they sent another email, this time more aggressive. Then another. They started overplaying their hand. They started looking unstable. 40 days later, without David speaking a single word of defense, a third-party auditor uncovered a paper trail. It turned out the person who sent the accusation was the one embezzling the funds. They were projecting their own crime onto David. The truth came out not because David shouted it, but because the silence forced the shadows into the light. The accuser was fired. David was promoted to the open position. He was vindicated publicly in a way that his own email never could have achieved. David survived the attack because he mastered the protocol, but he almost failed the test that came immediately after the victory. You see, the enemy has two hands. In one hand, he holds a sword. If he cannot kill you with the sword of accusation, he switches hands. He comes back with a kiss. And this is where most chosen ones lose their crown, because they do not see the Judas trap until it is too late. The enemy knows he cannot defeat you when you are silent. He knows he cannot trigger you with insults anymore because you have mastered the smile and scroll protocol. So he will switch tactics. He will put away the sword and pull out the kiss. This is the Judas trap. In the coming days, after you have maintained your silence and the atmosphere around you begins to shift, do not be surprised if the very people who betrayed you suddenly reappear. They will slide into your messages. They will call you out of the blue. They will use phrases like, "I miss our talks," or "I was just thinking about how close we used to be." They might even apologize. But listen to me closely. Do not break the seal. This is not reconciliation. This is reconnaissance. They are coming back because your silence has terrified them. They do not know what you are doing. They do not know what God is cooking. and that mystery is driving them insane. They are coming close to peak inside the oven. If you open the door to explain your victory to them, you let the heat out, and the bread collapses. When Judas kisses you, you do not kiss back. You maintain the posture of the king. You love them from a distance, but you keep the vault door shut. This brings us to the final shift in your identity. Up until now, you might have felt like this silence was a restriction. You felt like a child being told to sit in the corner. But that is the mindset of a slave. I am moving you into the mindset of a monarch. Proverbs chapter 25 verse 2 says, "It is the glory of God to conceal a matter. To search out a matter is the glory of kings." Look at the nature of God. He is a God who hides things. He hides diamonds deep in the earth. He hides life in the womb. He hides his greatest power in the mystery of the cross. God is not loud. God is secretive. And if you are a child of God carrying his DNA, then secrecy is not your punishment. It is your glory. Think about a bank vault. Have you ever stood inside one? It is thick. It is heavy. And it is absolutely silent. Why? Because it is holding millions of dollars in gold bullion. Cheap things are loud. Empty vessels make the most noise. But valuable things are quiet. The reason God has shut your mouth is because your value has gone up. You are no longer a street vendor shouting your wares. You are the bank of heaven. You are the royal vault. And banks do not need to advertise that they have money. They just hold it. So, shake off the feeling of rejection. Shake off the need to be heard. Wear your silence like a royal robe. Walk into a room and let your mystery be your loudest statement. People will look at you and wonder, why is she so calm? Why is he not panicked? And that question will do more to preach the gospel than 1,000 of your words ever could. We are about to enter the Holy of Holies. We are about to seal this covenant with a ceremony that will mark you for the rest of your life. I need you to prepare the atmosphere wherever you are right now. If you are in your room, I want you to feel the air getting thicker. Visualize angels taking their positions at the four corners of your space. They are the sentries of the Lord, coming to stand guard over your lips. If you are driving or in a public place, build a sanctuary in your mind. Visualize walls of fire rising up around you, shutting out the noise of the world, shutting out the opinions of man. Bring into your mind every dream you have almost leaked. Bring into your mind the names of the people in your circle 3 who you need to protect yourself from. Bring into your mind the heavy, glorious weight of the promise you are carrying. We are going to lock it in. We are going to seal the door so that no devil in hell can pry it open again. I want you to shift your posture. If you can stand safely, stand up on your feet to honor the King. If you are driving or cannot move, stand up in your spirit. Straighten your spine. Lift your chin. You are not a victim. You are a chosen one, entrusted with the secrets of the Most High. The atmosphere is set. The witnesses are watching. The King is seated. It is time to seal this covenant forever. We are now crossing the threshold. I want you to build a sanctuary in your imagination right now. Whether you are in a car, in a bedroom, or walking down the street, visualize 4 walls of invisible fire rising up around you. You are no longer in the physical world. You are standing in the center of a great, silent cathedral. In the middle of this room, visualize a golden altar. This is the altar of silence. I take authority over this atmosphere in the mighty name of Yeshua. I command every distracting spirit, every spirit of anxiety, and every monitoring agent that has been tracking your life to flee from this presence immediately. This is a sealed channel. This is holy ground. Whatever happens in the next few minutes is hidden from the enemy and recorded only in the books of heaven. Father, we come before you not with excuses, but with a confession. We bring to this altar the heaviness of our own words. We acknowledge the times we acted like the old Sarah, when we let the excitement of the moment trick us into exposing the baby too soon. We acknowledge the times we felt the rage of David, when we wanted to use our mouths to destroy those who hurt us, instead of trusting you to fight. We feel the bitter taste of secrets we should have kept but didn't. We feel the regret of the pearls we threw to people who trampled them. Right now, in your mind's eye, I want you to visualize yourself holding all those regrets, all those leaked secrets, all those broken promises. They look like old, tattered scrolls in your hands. I want you to walk up to that golden altar and lay them down. Release the grip, let them go. You do not have to carry the guilt of a loose tongue anymore. It is finished. Now we activate the seal. I speak to the spiritual gates of your life. I seal the three-circle rule over your relationships. I declare that from this day forward, you will have the discernment to know who belongs in your inner court and who belongs in the outer court. Your circle is sanctified. Your trust is expensive. I speak to every monitoring spirit that has tapped into your frequency. By the authority of the blood, I cut the cord. I disconnect the supply line. You have no permission to listen to this chosen one anymore. Their voice is encrypted. Their dreams are cloaked. We declare a spiritual gag order on the enemy's intelligence network regarding your future. And now we ask for the fire. Isaiah chapter 6, verses 6 and 7 says that a seraphim flew to the prophet with a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with tongs from the altar. He touched it to Isaiah's mouth and said, "See, this has touched your lips. Your guilt is taken away and your sin atoned for." I want you to visualize that live, glowing coal coming down from heaven right now. It is hot with the holiness of God. In your spirit, receive it. Feel it touching your lips. It does not burn you. It purifies you. It is cauterizing the wound. It is burning away the addiction to gossip. It is burning away the need for human validation. It is burning away the fear of man. Your mouth is being recalibrated. You are no longer a source of leakage. You are a vessel of power. The leak is stopped. The door is guarded. The vessel is whole. Now that you are purified, we shift from confession to command. We shift from the altar of sacrifice to the throne of authority. Job chapter 22 verse 28 declares, "You will decree a thing, and it will be established for you." Notice it does not say you will ask for a thing, it says you will decree it. A decree is a legislative order issued by a king. Since you have sealed your lips from the world, God is opening your mouth to rule in the Spirit. I want you to feel the scepter of authority in your hand right now. We are going to release rapid-fire decrees over your life. Receive them. Agree with them. Let them settle into your spirit like concrete. I decree over your enemies. I declare that your silence will be the loudest weapon they have ever faced. I decree confusion into their camp. Because they cannot hear you, they cannot find you. I declare that every trap they have set for you will snap shut on empty air, because you are no longer standing where you used to stand. You are hidden in God. I decree over your finances. I declare that in this season of silence, your roots are going deep into the hidden reservoirs of wealth. I command the hidden riches of secret places to be unlocked for you. While you work in the dark, I declare your harvest is growing at an accelerated rate. You will not announce the seed. You will only announce the fruit. I decree that the next time you speak about money, it will be to testify of a surplus that makes no sense to the natural mind. I decree over your relationships, I declare that the mask is falling off every Judas in your life. Because you are no longer feeding them information, they will starve and reveal their true nature. I decree that God is sending you, circle, 2 covenant friends who know how to protect a secret. I declare that you are invisible to users and abusers, and you are magnetic to destiny helpers. Now we come to the commissioning. I am not sending you back into the world as a civilian. I am sending you back as a warrior. In the Spirit, I am placing a mantle upon your shoulders. It is the mantle of the secret keeper. I commission you as a knight of the silent order. You are now a guardian of the mysteries of God. I am going to ask you a question 3 times. I want you to answer yes in your spirit. I want heaven to record your voice. Chosen one, God is entrusting you with the blueprint of a kingdom. Will you keep the secret? God is preparing a table for you in the presence of your enemies. Will you keep the secret? God is gestating a miracle that will change your bloodline forever. Will you keep the secret? The heavens have recorded your answer. The seal is set. The covenant is active. Do not break it. Do not look back. You have your orders. Walk in silence and let your results make the noise. You are dismissed.